Can Mystery Babylon be America? A lot of people think that it is, but we're going to explore what the Bible has to say about it coming up next. Hey everybody, this is Dana with the Wisdom Calls channel and What Your Pastor Never Told You.com, helping you to understand the Bible better so that you can have a better relationship with God. In today's video, we're going to explore the controversial topic about whether or not America can be Mystery Babylon. And I'm here to give you 3 reasons why the Bible says America cannot be Mystery Babylon. Let's get started. First, let's talk a little bit about similarities. Mystery Babylon in the Bible is talked about as a region that has a melting pot of ethnicities. So it has a bunch of different people in one area, which seems to sound like America. We are a melting pot of different ethnicities. Also, Mystery Babylon is talked about as an economic and world power. So of course, people automatically think America, the largest world power, wealthiest nation on earth. That's what people think of, and it's those similarities that often lead people to the wrong conclusion that Mystery Babylon is America. So we're going to get right into it. Here's the number 1 reason why Mystery Babylon cannot be America. First of all, the Bible clearly says that Mystery Babylon is a port city. So just by definition, because it's talking about a city, it cannot be America by and large. So that is one really good reason as to why Mystery Babylon cannot be America. It's not talking about America because it's talking about a city, not necessarily an empire. What a lot of people accidentally get this confused because Mystery Babylon is often talked about in the same context with the beast empire that is talked about in Revelation. In fact, when we're introduced to Mystery Babylon, we see that she is actually riding upon this beast, the 7-headed beast, these are both symbols of something, and the Bible gives us very clear definitions of what they are symbols of. So Mystery Babylon is a port city, and there's many other characteristics. We're going to explore a couple of them in today's video, but the beast on which she rides is actually the Antichrist empire. So Mystery Babylon is a city, and the beast represents a last days empire that is going to be run by the Antichrist. And the Bible actually tells us that the beast hates the woman, and that in the end, God is going to use the beast empire, the Antichrist empire, to turn and overthrow Babylon and in fact burn her with fire. And this is listed in several different scriptures. So I think sometimes people get confused because they think, well, America, they think about like an empire type of a thing, and they think, well, maybe America is it. But Mystery Babylon is not referencing an empire. Mystery Babylon is referencing a city. So then a lot of people think, well, if Mystery Babylon isn't representing America as a whole, perhaps it's talking about an American city. There are 2 main cities that are probably considered the key cities people think of when they think of America. One of them is Washington, D.C., of course, being our nation's capital. But Washington, D.C. itself is not a major port city. It's not listed among the top port cities of our country. And that is one of the main characteristics of Mystery Babylon, is the huge amount of cargo that comes into her, the huge amounts of trade that are done in this specific city. And so Washington, D.C. is not qualified to be Mystery Babylon because it's not a major port city. And another thing to consider is the fact that Mystery Babylon is supposed to be sitting on 7 hills, which Washington, D.C. does not. Some people think there's a nearby area to New York that perhaps sits on 7 hills, and so they might think, well, New York is close enough to the 7 hills, and it's this huge economic power. But we're going to talk about several other reasons why this is not possible. Reason number 2 as to why America or an American city cannot be Mystery Babylon is because Mystery Babylon is drunk on the blood of the saints. We're going to read that together in Revelation 17, verse 6. And I saw the woman drunk on the blood of the saints, and with the blood of the witnesses of Jesus. When I saw her, I wondered greatly. So unless something drastically changes in America before the return of Christ, she is not currently, and New York City is not currently drunk on the blood of the saints. So we're looking for a city that regularly kills and persecutes Christians. We're going to look for a place in the world where it's okay to kill people based on their faith. And I would encourage you to look toward the Middle East, because that is where people are regularly killed for their faith, especially Christians. Point number 3 about why Mystery Babylon cannot be America or an American city is that Mystery Babylon will be involved in modern day slave trade. Now, while America has had this as a dark part of its history, it is not currently in the midst of slave trade. But let's look at Revelation and see what Revelation has to say about this modern day city. We're going to read Revelation 18, verses 11 through 13. And the merchants of the earth will weep over her, because no one buys their cargoes anymore. Cargoes of gold and silver, precious stones and pearls, and fine linen, and purple silk and scarlet, and every kind of citron wood, and every kind of ivory, and every article made from costly wood, and bronze, and iron, and marble, and cinnamon, and spice, and incense, and perfume, and frankincense, and wine, and olive oil, and human lives. So we see here that this is going to be a city that is currently involved in slave trade. You may or may not be aware of it, but there are many places throughout the world where slave trade is still ongoing. It is still a common, brutal, modern-day reality. One of the places that it continues to go on is in the Middle East. Isn't any surprise that here the Bible is a book originating from the Middle East, about events in the Middle East, and perhaps it is talking here about a Middle Eastern place, since so far the pieces of the picture, the pieces of the puzzle seem to fit, pointing toward a Middle Eastern city and not a Western city. So those are our 3 reasons as to why America or an American city cannot be Mystery Babylon. But I've got one more bonus point for you. The bonus reason as to why America cannot be Mystery Babylon is because Mystery Babylon is described as being the mother of all harlots. Now in the Bible, harlotry is equated with false religions, worshiping false gods. So for America to be equated, or an American city to be equated with the great harlot, the mother of all harlots, you would have to assume that America would be responsible for the greatest false religion in the world. Despite all of America's faults, America is still the greatest missionary sending country in the world. We are not by any means the mother of all harlots. Statistically, if you look up on the internet the percentages of false religions, there is one false religion that stands out head and shoulders above the rest in terms of numbers, and that is Islam. The second and third most popular false religions are not even close. So we see that in our current day, the mother of all harlots, the mother of all false religions, is none other than Islam. And America and American cities is not the mother of all harlots. So now you've got 4 reasons why America, even though she may have similarities in some ways with the harlot, cannot be Mystery Babylon according to the Bible. Stay tuned next time to find out, can Rome be Mystery Babylon? We're going to talk about that in a future video. This has been Dana with the Wisdom Calls channel and whatyourpastornevertoldyou.com. Wishing you a blessed day.